Thank you so much for coming. What a turnout. This is amazing. We have Cindy here who's going to teach us how to defend ourselves. Officer Mooney is going to teach us about what's going on here at the lake. So without further ado, Officer Mooney, all yours.
Thank you.
So Jim Mooney, I'm a police officer, one of 3 officers. We also have a chief at Lake Monticello. I retired from Charlottesville PD in 2021. I retired as the assistant chief of police. I retired for 2 days and then they made some changes and called me back. So I went back and served as chief of police for 6 weeks and I told them what they could do with that job right after that. So that's a very different town than Lake Monticello. So I sat around for about 4 months and realized I couldn't do that either. So you guys hired a great police chief in David Wells, somebody I've known for a while, and he offered me a job and I jumped at the chance. So, and I've been here for about 2 years now. But Lisa asked me to talk about fraud and things that are going on at the lake. The first fraud was, she told me I was going to be talking to about 4 people. And I guess we got about 40 here, so she got me. So some of the real common things that we see at Lake Monticello, one of the big ones is contractor fraud. We have a lot of problems with contractor scams, tree scams. Our ECC has an application when you do construction and projects at your house. There are some small fees that you have to pay, but those are, partly for your protection. We get to see the companies you're using, and sometimes we can make some recommendations that maybe you want to get another estimate. We had one the other day where somebody submitted an application for a new roof, $65,000. So red flags went up immediately, but thankfully they did the application so we could see that. We were able to say, maybe you want to get a couple more estimates, and they're getting the work done for $11,000 now. So that's the good part about this process, and the good part about the red tape, but this is on the website. You can come by the office and pick it up. It's real easy to fill out, and you submit a plan, and it's pretty quick. The committee looks at it and approves it, and you get your work done. But Facebook is famous for recommendations on who to use for your house, and sometimes they're not good recommendations. I worked a case last year with a company called David's Handyman. Next week he will be sentenced to probably a couple years in prison for everything he did out here. But about $250,000 in losses, Lake Monticello residents alone. So, and what he would do is he would start with a small project, work his way into your house. You get comfortable with him. He's a very nice guy. Hey, I noticed this. You need this done. And I can pass this around, but this is a picture of bats in a chimney. And he sends a text message to the homeowner saying, hey, my guy almost fell off the roof because of these bats in your chimney. And of course, the homeowner is rightfully freaked out by that and wants it fixed, cap replaced. I did a little research, and that picture didn't come from that roof. It came from the internet. You can take a look at these if you want to pass them around. And then he makes his way to the air conditioner unit and sends a text that your capacitor is blown up. It'll be $2,000 to fix it. Of course, he took that from American Home Services in Des Moines, Iowa. Couple losses for individuals over 50 grand, easy. The bad part is he's going to go to prison. He's never going to pay that money back. In his lifetime, he will not pay that money back. Once it's gone, it's gone. Oh, I forgot my little snake, I'll tell you. We had a windstorm in October of last year. Blew a lot of branches and trees down. Somebody got into the lake because they're a business and they had other business, and they start going house to house. Hey, would you like me to clean up your yard? Hey, I notice your gutters are clogged. Hey, you've got a leak in your roof. In this particular case, he gets a ladder out and goes up to the roof and tells the homeowner, you have snakes in your attic. Yeah, and it scared her to death. It did. I'm scared to death of snakes. It would have scared me. Well, anyway, we got onto this, and he was coming back to the house to pick up a check for $12,000 to get rid of these snakes in the attic. And before because I was waiting at the house, and when he got there, we stopped the car and arrested him and all that. He had just been to Dollar General, and he had bought a plastic snake that he put into a bag, and he was going to show that to that woman. Yeah, and she's terrified of snakes. So they try to scare you, they try to intimidate you, tell you you have to have this work done. So ECC is your biggest protection at the lake. There's also a website, and I don't know if you give out my email or whatever, but I can pass this on. The Department of Professional and Occupational Regulation in Virginia, DPOR. You can go there, you can see if your contractor is licensed, what class license they have, if they have any other complaints. You will get some reassurance that they are legitimate. If they're on that site, they're probably in good shape. The tree cases are another big one. I had a lady from a legitimate company, they took down 10 trees and charged her $38,000. You know, she's 90-some years old. My parents are 89 and 90, and I worry every day about this because they have huge trees over their house. But they will tell you need this work done. They will scare you. This is getting ready to fall on your house. You're in danger and intimidate you. And next thing, they've got your life savings. So contractors are the biggest thing at Lake Monticello. Lately, we've had a lot of the email scams and computer pop-up scams. I worked a case recently where somebody was doing their taxes using an online tax program. And when they went to download their 1099 interest income, they got a pop-up saying basically your account has been compromised. Call this number to resolve it. And sometimes it'll have your bank name, and that's likely because you have spyware or something on your computer and they've learned these things about you. But you call this number and they will tell you that your money is being used for all kinds of terrible stuff all around the world, and they will scare you to death, try to sully your name, and intimidate you to the point where you're convinced that you need to do something to resolve it. In this case, they had to send $16,000 in cryptocurrency, which this was something I never knew, that there are ATMs now in all these convenience stores where you can buy cryptocurrency. Right up here at the one across from Food Line, they have one. Never knew it. Never knew you could do that. So, and like the contractor cases, once that money is, you know, in India somewhere, you're never going to see it again. You're not. In that case, I had names of suspects. They would call and say, I'm this person with the FTC, I'm this person with your bank. They would send them identification cards that looked legitimate. When I ran those names, I found all kinds of cases all over the country. Hundreds of thousands of dollars in losses. There's nothing that Jim Mooney at Lake Monticello can do if somebody's got your money in India. There's absolutely nothing. I call the FBI, I call the Secret Service, I call the postal inspector, everyone, and I try to get somebody to, they're not going to do it. The FBI, in case you haven't watched the news in the last 50 years, is pretty busy right now. So they actually have a $400,000 threshold before they'll even look at a case now. And a lot of people have lost that amount of money, their life savings. So the pop-ups are a big thing, and those will appear on your computer and on your phone. These phones, I get an email a day now with a PDF attachment saying, thanks for your order of Norton antivirus. Everybody's shaking their head, you've seen it. So don't open those things, delete it, and never look at it again. If you don't already have this, put some kind of antivirus on your computers and your phones. There's all kinds of them out there that are reputable. You can look them up, 60 Minutes, Dateline, they've all done shows about companies that are legitimate. I use an app called NordVPN. It blocks everything. It blocks everything. Gmail, I have a Gmail, it's terrible. It's terrible. Everything gets through that. In fact, yesterday, a resident on Jefferson got an email from Carol Meyer, 84db@gmail.com. Attached to it was a long letter with a picture of a road and a fence behind her house. And it says, you've been doing all kinds of bad stuff on the internet. We know all about you, and send this money in cryptocurrency. Well, and it scared her to death. What I was able to point out is that picture is from Lake Monticello Road. If it was on Jefferson Drive, I'd be really worried about that, but it's not. They can type any address in Google Earth and find all kinds of information about your house. Thankfully, Google Earth did not come through the lake and photograph all the roads here. So, and hopefully they never will. Yeah, but that was just yesterday. So, what else? The big one in Fluvanna, and tell me how many of you have gotten this call that you missed jury duty and we're coming to arrest you if you don't send $2,000. Yeah. I had a lady in my office a few weeks ago in tears, terrified that they were coming to arrest her. And no matter what I did to reassure her, when she left that office, she still felt that way. She was going right to the court after that to check to make sure that she was okay. So they will do everything to terrify you, and they do target the elderly, but these email pop-ups and everything, they're rampant. It's not just elderly scams, it's everybody now. And they are very elaborate, they are very detailed, and they will get anyone. They will. I'll end on this one. We had one that came through yesterday to the lmoa.org, which all of us get. It says, "I've noticed broken links in your website." That email got forwarded after that, and I had to reply, "This is a scam, do not forward this." And this is other police officers. So things look legitimate. You really, yeah, and I'll try to end. There's one more, because a lot of you, I'm not lucky enough to have grandkids yet, but hopefully, we got 2 girlfriends in my house finally, so it's a good sign. You get a call from somebody saying they're your grandson or your granddaughter, and I'm in jail and I need money. Watch the 60 Minutes episode on this thing. It's terrifying. With all this new AI stuff out here, they can mimic everybody's voice. These recordings that they're going to put on YouTube, they have my voice now. They have my voice. So, and I was deputy chief for a long time, and I was on TV quite a bit, so I keep waiting for something, but hopefully it won't happen. But when I get these text messages and things on my iPhone, I'll hit delete, and it'll say report and delete, and that way you can send it to the company. But if you use Gmail, they have security that you can send it to. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I learned a lot.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it. Cindy, come on up. And this is Cindy. She's going to teach us some self-defense moves. Is that correct?
I will.
Okay.
Yes,
So this is Cindy
among other
Pye,
things.
And I will let her take it from here because she knows what she's talking about. I don't.
Thank you. My name is Cindy Kyle. I'm a 3rd-degree black belt in Taekwondo. I also do Tai Chi because I'm getting older and I need to do something not quite so hard. And I just started a Kenjutsu, taking Kenjutsu this year because I realized I really hadn't had any weapons training, though I have had some cane training. Anyway, I originally took self-defense for women through PVCC that was taught by my instructor. And over the years, I've taught that and I've modified it for self-defense for seniors and seniors who travel and all kinds of things. And I really enjoy doing that. I think it's really important to know some self-defense. And self-defense isn't all just about how do I get away from somebody. Self-defense is also, to me, the biggest thing is being aware of your environment, of being aware of what you're doing. And, the first thing that I think is the most important is observation. Be aware of your surroundings, know what your abilities are. I mean, I have, somebody mentioned birthdays. When I turned 60, I didn't want anybody to know. I never told anybody my age. I hated turning 60. Oh my God. Well, I just turned 70 this year and I had a big party and I was like, all right, I'm over it, So, but I know my limitations now. I can't do the things I could do 20 years ago. I'm probably looking at a knee replacement soon. When I'm walking around or when I'm doing anything, I also look, what are my avenues to safety? How can I get away if something happens? Then I think if something does happen, okay, what's the situation? What's going on? What's the condition of this person? What defensive tools do I have? Is there a weapon involved? Is the person drunk? You know, can I smell smoke? Oh, maybe that means he can't run as fast as I can. You know, and your goal is not to like kill somebody or hurt somebody. Your goal is to get the hell away without being injured. That's, you know, although, well, that's your goal. And so the first thing that I really want to talk about has to do with these three, you know, observe, take action, assess, is you don't want to be submissive because that's not going to help you, but you also don't want to be hostile. You don't know the person who's attacking you. And a lot of times if you come across like, what are you know, that's just going to really anger them more. You know, the person, you know, could be looking for a fight. What you want to do is kind of be right in the middle. You want to look strong. You want to be confident. You want to use a calm voice. You want to be centered. You know, it's like when you walk, you want to walk with confidence, even if you don't have it. That's how I walk, you know, and I walk fast. But, you know, if I'm just kind of, you know, walking around like this and looking down and stuff, I'm a perfect target. You know, I'm a perfect target. In fact, well, I'll talk about that in a minute. One of the things that's really important is car safety. And studies show that women, when they get in their car, take a lot longer to get out of the parking lot than a man does. Because we got to mess around with our purse, we got to look at our phone, we got to do this, we got to do that. Don't do that. You know, get in the car, lock the doors, turn it on, and leave. You can do all of that stuff later. You know, if you're walking to your car alone, survey the area around you. You know, this, and I work, you know, when I teach martial arts at the Dojang, it's a pretty well-lit place. I'm in Charlottesville, and, you know, it's a walkway, and there's columns, but I still come out doing this and kind of looking around behind columns and stuff, because, you know, who knows? Maybe there's a, you know, just who knows who's hiding behind there. Some people just really don't care. Check the back seat. I drive a pickup truck. I just kind of look in the back. I mean, it seems ridiculous, right? I'm here in Lake Monticello. You know, what's going to happen here? But, you know, just think about it. You know, you're not always going to be in Lake Monticello. You're always not going to be in a well-lit place. I check the back of my truck. Always have your keys in your hand as you approach your car. You know, you're leaving yourself open to be attacked if you get to your car and you're fumbling in your pockets or in your purse trying to find your keys. You don't want to do that. You want to get to your car, you want to get in the car, and then you want to leave and go where you're going. You know, the car key should be the one you're holding. It's as simple as that. If somebody approaches you when you're getting in your car, just drop everything, and that'll distract his attention. Drop your packages, drop your keys, just drop it. That'll distract his attention and run. You know, yell for help as you're running. Simple as that. I'm not going to stop and have a conversation with this person. You know, and there have been instances, you know, the police officer was talking about scams where people in parking lots will like purposely run into your car or come up and say, oh, can you help me out with this? I need that. You know, I just hate to like, it's a shame that we've gotten that way, whereas normally we'd be like, oh yes, what's the problem? Like somebody met me at my car, saw me getting out and said, oh, let me help you, can I carry something? You know, unfortunately, we're in a day and age where we have to be suspicious of kindness. It's just the way. If someone grabs you before you can run, your keys can be a very effective tool, you know, and especially, you know, holding them right here, sticking out. Again, you're not trying to kill the person or maim the person. Poke them in the arm, poke them anywhere, and then run. It doesn't matter if you can, you know, I can't run. I've got bad knees, you know, but I'm moving as fast as I can move. If you get to your car and you see someone in the car next to you that looks suspicious, you know, or you're riding to your car, walking to your car, and you see something, just wait. Just go back into the shopping center, go back to what you were doing, and wait until the car leaves. Trust your instinct. Trust your gut. You know, sometimes we'll say, oh, Cindy, you're being silly. Just get in the car. Well, I've learned to trust my instinct. You know, same with like getting into elevators with people. If somebody is making me uncomfortable, I'm not getting in the elevator, you know. And I'm not talking about, I'm just talking about if somebody has a sense about them and there's nobody else in the elevator. And a lot of times I go into elevators with people I don't know, and we're the only two in the elevator. You know, we chat and stuff, but every now and then there's that person that, you know, and I just trust my gut. Something tells me that I don't want to be in the elevator with that. Park in well-lit areas where there are a lot of people around. I know, you know, park far away, get the extra steps in, malarkey on that. In terms of my safety, you know, especially if it's at night. You know, if it's at night, I'm parking close to where I want to be. I'm parking close to where the lights are. You know, it's different if it's in the day and there's a lot of people around. Again, be aware that somebody could be hiding behind your car, under your car, in the hedge next to your car. And, you know, the point is not to become this paranoid person, but the point is to train yourself and get used to the fact that you're always checking out your environment. That is going to be like the biggest key to keeping you safe in terms of, you know, being put in dangerous situations. Now, this is one people always think, oh, yeah, really, I'm not doing that. But if someone tries to grab you by your car and you can't really run, you're on a cane, you know, your foot, whatever, just drop to the ground. Just even if it seems ridiculous, just who cares what you're on? Drop to the ground. If you can roll under your car, do it. You know, because this person is going to be a lot less likely to be haggling with some poor senior citizen who's on the ground, he's grabbing your leg. I'm serious. And here's the other thing. The attacker has a scenario in his mind, right? He's got it all laid out. I'm the aggressor, you're the victim. So you're not supposed to fight back. That goes completely against his plan. So the minute you start to do something, even if it's that, but the minute you start to do something to show that you're not going along with his plan, it takes him aback. He's like, whoa, what? You know, and then that's your chance to do something and get out of there. Because the most important thing is get out of there. Lock your doors. I mean, there have been instances where people have, you know, been driving, their doors aren't locked, somebody jumps into their car, right? Well, what you need to do is jump out the other door. Now, if somebody gets into your car and you're at a light or something, again, proceed with your car and then like crash it into something at a slow speed. Crash it into, bump somebody else or crash it into the side of a fence. Do something to draw attention to the fact that somebody's in your car who is not supposed to be there. I mean, I'm willing to pay the damage for my car if it's that or my life. Which brings me to never get into a car with somebody. And just, to me, my chances are much better where I am than if I get into a car with somebody and I get taken out to a desolate area. My chances are a lot less likely out in that desolate area that I'm going to survive. Now, you know, a lot of times people ask me about guns and things. Okay, I have no idea what defense is against guns, you know, and I can kick and punch and all that kind of stuff. But a lot of the defenses you see against guns are Hollywood stuff. You know, people put their legs up and they go, whoa, you know, that's Hollywood. You know, that's Hollywood. If somebody points a gun at me and says, give me your purse, you got it. Here, you take it. You know, and I'm sure there are some ways to train against guns, but my feeling is if someone's pointing a gun at you, a lot of times they don't really want to use the gun, but if provoked, if you become that hostile person, you know, they might be provoked. But to them, mostly gun is power. Again, in their head, gun is power, I'm the aggressor, you're the victim. You know, which brings me, well, do you get in a car with somebody if they're pointing a gun at you. You have to make that decision. I'm not doing it. I'm just not doing it. I don't know what my chances are going to be with the gun, and the police officer here may disagree with me on that, but I just think my chances are a lot less likely that I'm going to survive if I'm driven to some desolate area. So I don't really teach like self-defense against guns. You know, same with knife attacks. There are ways to block knife attacks. You can do it, but accept the fact that you're probably going to get cut. You know, and that's okay. I'm going to get cut or I'm going to die. You know, there are definitely ways to do that, but this is not the class, you know, it's a short class. You know, we can't go into doing that. But when you're defending yourself against somebody's coming at you with a baseball bat or something, there are ways, but again, you have to also accept the fact that you're probably going to be hurt in the process. And, you know, again, it's a trade-off. It's a trade-off. So it's just really important when you get in your car to lock your doors. If somebody's following you, don't drive home. Just keep driving until you're in a well-lit area. Stop and call the police. Drive to the nearest fire station or police. Just don't drive home. If your car becomes disabled on the highway, again, it's one of those things where people want to help. But don't do it. Keep your car locked. Call the police. People who truly want to help you will understand why you don't want to unlock your car doors and let them help you. They're going to, I mean, again, there have been situations where people have been, you know, having a disabled vehicle. Somebody says, oh, can I help? And then it ends up being a disastrous scenario. And again, you know, never go with a person in the car or your car or his. You know, when you're a pedestrian, it's really important to walk in the middle of the sidewalk. You know, you want not necessarily walking closer to buildings or where people could be hiding in bushes. We all know there's safety in numbers. When I walk or I'm doing exercise outside, I do not wear my headphones. That's just, I want to hear what's going around me. And I live in Charlottesville, but I live next to this little trails park. And even when I walk through the trails park, you know, I'm looking around. Occasionally, I'll just kind of turn around and look behind me and keep walking. And I don't wear my headphones because I want to hear. I want to hear what's going on. So again, the more you're aware of where you are and your surroundings, the less likely you are to be attacked, the more you're able to protect yourself. Okay, now you're being attacked, okay? So now you've decided, I'm going to fight back, okay? First of all, once you have decided to fight back, do it. You have to commit 100%. No waffling when you've decided to fight back. You're going for it, right? So resist immediately. You know, if it's a sexual attack, somebody's trying to get you down, again, the attacker doesn't expect a fighter. The attack, especially us, you know, gray hair, older, they're not expecting us to fight back. They're expecting us to just go, oh, okay, this is it, you know, and don't do that. You know, immediate and forceful resistance will oftentimes disarm, and I mean, you know, emotionally or mentally disarm the assailant. Make eye contact. Look directly in your assailant's eye, letting him know you're not intimidated. And I mean, not like, but you know, just looking at him right in the eye. I'm not intimidated by you. You're not, you know, I'm not a victim. Yell. Okay, and that's the first one, you know, that's one of the first defenses that I teach. If somebody's walking toward me and I'm walking and somebody's walking towards me, stop. If they're coming towards me in a way that I think is threatening, I'd stop. And they're like, they're not expecting that again. And it sounds, and not help, because they haven't done anything to you yet. But somebody's coming towards me and I don't like the way this person's coming towards me. Stop. It's that simple. Stop. When you're being attacked, if you yell, ah! Well, I have a loud voice. So And it's funny because when women come in to take Taekwondo and, we key up, they're like, key up. I'm like, no. And I've never been accused of being soft-spoken. I've always wished I were soft-spoken. But that has its advantages for me in situations like this. Yell. Attack vulnerable areas. We'll talk about that in a minute. Direct your anger. The one thing that you can't really practice ahead of time is, how when somebody comes up to you unexpectedly and you go, oh, and you just kind of freak out because you're not expecting. There's no way to practice how to be calm in that instance. But what you practice is after that initial to not let panic take over. And that takes practice. Even for me with all of my years of martial arts and self-defense training, that takes practice. Once I calm down, now I'm angry. And so I have to turn that anger into my energy at getting away from this assailant without coming across as being hostile. I talked about correct stance, posture, really. Look as confident as you can. When somebody is attacking you and you've decided to attack back, there are positions that are much stronger than other stances. Putting your leg one front and the back, and there's a reason you see fighters using this. This is a strong stance. Even if you're standing with both feet, keep both feet grounded. The minute you come up like this, you've lost your grounding, and it's easy for them to yank you down. So I know that's a lot of stuff to remember. Speed is power. Again, once you decide that you are going to, I'm walking with my cane, somebody comes up, whack, use your cane, use whatever you have, whack them in the leg, fast as you can, and then get out of there. Because again, they're not expecting that. You have the advantage. If one thing doesn't work, don't give up. The first time I had to do my test after self-defense, I was on the ground, somebody was on top of me holding me down, and my defense didn't work. And I panicked. I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna die. And my instructor just said, Cindy, try something else. Try something else. So again, if it doesn't work, try something else. A lot of stuff you don't really have to be trained in. Elbows are great to, kicking somebody in the shin, kicking somebody on the top of their foot. Whoa, that'll break those bones. You don't think it will, but it will. Don't hold back. And again, when you make the decision to fight, do it with everything that you have. Everything that you have. Okay, so now the person has grabbed me. So somebody has come up and they've grabbed me. Come here, Barbara. Right, so. No, but Barbara's just going to grab me around the wrist. One hand, just try with one hand. Okay, see how she's holding me? This is not going to get you anywhere pulling with your body, but go ahead and keep grabbing. But if I turn my wrist where the smaller part of my wrist, I can come out. Okay, so she's grabbing me, this nowhere, but I'm out and I'm running. Okay, so that's really a good thing to practice. So your first self-defense is your yell. Stop, whatever. If somebody grabs your wrist, again, and I think all of the people who tried it saw that it worked, you want to position your wrist so the smallest part is between their hands and you pull. And if you still can't get it, use your other hand and help you do that, because that works. That works. Okay, say somebody grabs your shoulder. Let me have my volunteer again. Okay, so I'm coming up to her and I'm going, oh, right. Okay, well, what am I going to do? This is a big person. Well, you should have stopped me before I even got there, right? we all have our, but we would have the Germans in martial arts come over and visit us, and they were always in our space and stuff. And we were like, we're Americans, okay? We have a sense of personal space. We have more room in our country, So she should have stopped me beforehand, but if she grabs, she's in front of me, okay. So I'm in front. So she's grabbed me, so just grab me on the shoulder, right? So I'm gonna trap her there, and then I'm gonna turn, and she either has to let go, or she ends up with a broken arm. Okay, again, usually when you're twisting, the person is going to let go and you just take off. You just take off. I mean, after you've calmed down that this person has grabbed me. It's the same with hair. So somebody's pulling me by the hair. I just put my hands here and then I step under and around. And then once again, I've twisted his arm and he's got to let go. And then I'm gone. So there are a lot of very simple things that you can do to get out of holes like this. Again, Barbara. So do this just now. If somebody comes up behind me and grabs my shoulder, same thing. I'm going to hold her here. This time, I'm going to turn around like this.
Oh, that was nice. I thought she was going to elbow me.
No.
I really did. I was like, crap.
I'm going to bring my arm down like that.
And then she's running.
And then I'm running. Okay? And these are, thank you.
Yes,
and these are things that are not hard to do. They're very easy to do, to get up and do that. One of my handouts has a picture of vulnerable target areas, the head, the body, the head, the nose. It's all cartilage. I know people think, oh, gouging out eyes, I can't do that. But even just like poking them in the eye, if you've ever been accidentally poked in the eye, that's enough to make them go back. The throat, or even right here. This is like, we call it a knife hand. Right there, anything that's going to make them do that and run. So there's two ways of doing that, Barbara. Okay, so sometimes people will come behind you like this, okay, and they've got you. Now what she can do is just quickly, I'm holding really tight. Now she can just lift her arms and just even lift them like this and drop, right, and drop and go, or hello. I've got her like this. She can stomp on my foot with her heel, right? Okay, that hurts. And it hurts enough for me to maybe go like that, and then boom, she's gone. Don't go anywhere yet.
I didn't get enough exercise today.
But what if someone's got you like this? Okay, the first thing you want to do is you want to be able to breathe. So turn your head to the side, and you're taking some of the pressure off your Adam's apple. Then with your free hand, grab one of the fingers and pull. Just pull it as far back as you can, which hurts, and then do your foot stomping. Exactly. I do traditional Taekwondo, and in traditional Taekwondo, because our study is really on the martial art, so we don't wear pads and go to competitions. But when we want to show power, we break wood. Now, all the wood we use is white pine. This is what we would have a 5 to 7-year-olds break. But I want to show you, this is what we have our late elementary school breakers. But if I'm stepping on somebody's foot, you're going to break a bone, you're going to do some damage. So I have 4 pieces of smaller wood, and 2 pieces of larger wood. So let me have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 volunteers who would like to come up and get that feel of stomping. All right. And
She rubs off on me.
And I think you can even do a larger one. Now, the thing is, remember, you're angry. This person has got you. That isn't going to do squat. And also if you yell, ha! So leg up, down hard in the middle with your heel and yell, ha! Woo! Good job. Knee up. There you go. Another 3. But so my point is that when these things which seem really simple, when the person's not expecting it, you've got that anger and that adrenaline going, and you put your force into it, is going to be enough for the attacker to let you go, and you're going to get away. Okay, now, what about, I've gotten him loose, but I really want to hit him. I want to just do something to push him away. So, Barbara. So just hold that without it. Just hold it out here. Yes, don't put. So, a punch. This is not how you hold your wrist for a punch. You want to bring your fingers all the way down, and you want to put your thumb against pointer and tall man. Okay? And now again, you're not punching, trying to knock him down, throw him on. You just want to get away. That's it. And he's like, what? And then you're gone. Again, hold it up a little. Elbow. And use your other hand. Use your other hand. He's got me, I've gotten away, pow. Again, just enough to startle him. Just enough to startle him. So these are all defenses that you can use. And again, I'm not going to put you guys on the ground, but women work on your hip thrusts. Because if somebody has me on the ground, one of the things, and this is why I wore leggings, one of the things I can do is maybe get my legs up and just enough to, if I can really do it, I can throw him over, but just enough to get him where I can get out from his hold, okay? Just enough to maybe get him over to the side. So when the people are on you, it's different things, but work your hips and work your feet. Again, just because someone has you on the ground, as I learned, it did not mean I was failing the test or my life was over. Do what you can. If somebody has me on the ground, I can get my feet and then turn, right? And so now he's kind of half on me, half off, okay? And I can do something from there. So don't ever think that your life is over just because somebody has you in one of these situations. And the nice thing about taking a longer self-defense class is you get an opportunity to practice these things. And then you can practice them with each other and practice them with a willing partner. Even when we do some of the things in Taekwondo when we're working on self-defense, we come up and we grab somebody and we do like this and we throw them. We don't really, there's a threshold because you can break arms and things like that. I had this thing at the end to kind of summarize, practice the safety tips and the avoidance things that I shared with you. Be aware of your surroundings, be alert to the situation, present an air of confidence in yourself, even if you don't feel it, fake it, act as if. Walk tall, don't avoid eye contact. Know that mind-altering substance. I didn't really talk about that because I keep thinking maybe we're a little old for that, but You know, if you're coming out and you've had some drinks or whatever, you're also going to be a little bit more vulnerable. But so is the person attacking you if he or she has had that. But so you really want to be careful of that. Trust your instincts. If it doesn't feel right, it probably isn't right. When you're practicing, you know, and rehearsing, you know, kind of visualize that I got this guy. I've got it. He's going down. You know, self-image. Also, chant to yourself, I will survive, I will survive. I mean, if you're in a situation of sexual assault, it's really scary. I mean, it's just any of these things, robbery, whatever, it's scary. It's scary. So you have to, at all times, take your breaths, I will survive, and not give in to that panic or that fear. Again, every situation, every attacker is different. So you have to make the decision, am I going to resist? Am I going to flee? Or am I going to comply? And you're the one who you know what your capabilities are. And again, you'd really find those out in a longer class, but you know what your capabilities are. You know that my knees are going to cause me trouble, or I've got shoulder, I can't lift my arm, I'm going to have to go at him with this. You're the one who's going to have to make that decision, even if it's a split second. But once you've decided, you better go all in. Okay, if I decide I'm going to fight, you know, I'm going to resist, then you go all in. Again, if they just want your purse, give it to them. I didn't bring my purse in, but if I'm out downtown in a crowded area, and you know, a lot of us will wear our little purses like this, don't do that. Because if a person's trying to grab your purse and you've got it over your shoulder, he's going to try to grab your purse anyway, and you're going to go down with him. I had a friend who broke her hip that way. So if I'm like in the middle of the day and I'm going into the Kroger, but other than that, I just wear it on my shoulder. You know, if they want my money, take it. My money, whatever's in my purse, is nowhere equivalent to my life. Let them have it. Don't walk looking at your cell phone. You know, again, you're not paying attention. If somebody comes up to you that you don't know, and they go, excuse me, do you have the time? You go, oh yes, it's 11:24. You don't stop and have a conversation with them. Yes, it's 11:24, and you keep walking. Because they do all these little innocent things, again, that you don't think twice about because we're nice people. But they're setting you up to try to go after something. So again, be smart, be aware of your situation, know your surroundings, know where you are, you know, and act accordingly. I do not ever recommend carrying mace or anything like that because the laws about that, and maybe you can address this, but to me the laws there are different laws about that in different counties in different states. It's too easy for it to go wrong. So I don't do mace or pepper spray, anything like that, but they do, and mine's broken right now. I had a little thing called a birdie that I carried around, and if somebody is attacking you or you're in a tough situation, you just pull it. It emits a high-pitched sound and a light. You can find them on the internet. Just look up women's safety things. You can attach it to your keys. You can carry it in your pocket. And to me, that's much better. So, thank you all. Thank you.